Hey guys, welcome to a new video. In this video, I'm going to be making Eleni Syndulla, Hare's mom from The Bad Batch. I am super excited to make this cosplay, and I have been gathering materials for a couple of months, and I'm finally now getting around to making it. So let's get started. Alright, so this pile of fabric is most of the fabric that I'm going to be using. So this is going to be my dress, her belt, this is the accents on her dress, and then this fabric I'm going to be using for her cap that goes over her leggings. This I'm going to be using for her leggings and as a mock-up for the dress. So I have started making her sleeves. They're actually almost done except for painting the white detailing they have. And they are a double layer of this fabric because it's so thin. I was worried about the green of my arm tights and gloves that I'm going to be wearing showing through it. So I did double layer it just to be safe. And then here are my pants. They are mostly done. I need to get a zipper for them to put in the side right here. I don't have one, so I do need to get the zipper before I could finish them. But other than that, they are mostly done. And I did put a pocket in, and they're currently inside out. I did put a front pocket in, and I do plan on putting pockets on the back, so I will have pockets in this cosplay. Alright, so here is my dress mock-up. I do only have one sleeve on it, but I am very happy with how it is looking and how it is fitting. I do have some pins down here on the front to mark where this needs to be cut in to match hers better. And then this side is sewn up higher than this side, just from doing my markups and fittings and everything. But I am very happy with how everything is looking and fitting. It's not too tight, so it should transfer to my other fabric just fine. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to put this on inside out and mark all of the detailing and the different colors and whatnot that I need to do. Okay, so I did start doing some markings earlier when I was taking in the sides and everything, but now that I have it on again, I'm not happy where some of these are, so I'm just gonna grab a different color and then start marking it up. Alright, so I have everything marked out for all the different lines up here. I do need to shorten the neckline a little bit, but I do have marked where it's all going to get cut, and these are just going to line up down the front and then just curve along the back. The edging she has on the sleeve, I'm just going to extend the sleeve. I think that this right here, this length right here, is good for the orange, and then extend it down that like about 3/4 of an inch for that blue that she has there. So I'm pretty happy with all that. I did go in and mark out where her belt is and everything, and then where all the brown detailing is, and then she does have a blue stripe between the orange and the brown, so I am going to have to remember to add that in. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with it. So now we're going to cut this apart and cut out all my pieces. Alright, so I got everything all drawn out. I got all my pattern pieces cut apart, and I transferred them to my fabric. And here are some of the pieces. So they are going to have that fold down the front, and then down the back is going to be an invisible zipper. Then I have started pinning some of the pieces together. I am going to be doing a basting stitch just because of the curved shape and everything. I don't want stuff slipping around while I'm sewing it, so I am going to do just a quick running stitch by hand through this and then put it in the machine. But so far I am really happy with how it's looking. Alright, so I have all of these pieces sewn together. I do still need to go in and machine sew these bottom two seams, but they are all sewn together, and I am really happy with how it came out. I have tried it on with the bodice, I've tried it on with the orange part. I had it all pinned together and it fit absolutely amazing. The only thing is I cut the orange part of the top out wrong. I put the back on the fold instead of the front. So I have since cut that and just pinned the front together to try and see if I have enough fabric to cut this out again. I do not. I do not have enough fabric to cut this out on the fold as one single piece. So my options are I could put shoulder seams in right here, which I really wanted to avoid just because she clearly doesn't have any seams right there, and also because of all the piecing, you don't really need a shoulder seam right there. But because I had so little fabric and I messed this up, I don't have enough fabric to recut the bodice piece. There's just nowhere wide enough for me to be able to do that. I do have enough fabric that if I wanted to, and I put that shoulder seam in, I could recut the bodice piece out and still have enough fabric for the skirt pieces. Because I do have the front and back skirt pieces that both need to be on a fold. Right now, I'm pretty sure I have enough fabric to put these on the fold and be fine. Guys, look at my dress. It is almost done and I am so happy with how it came out. I still need to put the blue trim on the sleeves here, put the zipper in the back, and then hem the neckline and the bottom here. And then it will almost be done. The fabric that I used for the brown right here is pretty thin and it is very stretchy, so you can see my fingers through it. So what I'm going to do is take this stretch suede I have and just make a backing piece for it. So I'm just going to line this center piece right here just to give it a bit more stability and also so it's not quite so see-through. But other than that, I am so happy with how it came out. Alright, so here is the underskirt. So what I did is I just cut out a general skirt shape for what I wanted. That was the length that I wanted, and then I added about 1.5 inches or 2 to either side so that I would have enough room to do all these pin tucks, and they are about, I think, just under 1/4 inch. I didn't use any measurement guide on my sewing machine. I just used the presser foot for it to measure it out, and I am really happy with how it looks. So here's what it will look like on the right side. So now I have marked where my side seams need to be, and so I'll start here and then just go straight out to the bottom down here. So I've started painting the details on the sleeves. There's a thick white stripe up at the top with a thin gray stripe in the middle, and then there are white edging around the wrist here. So I just used some white acrylic paint with some fabric medium so that it can still stretch a little bit, and then I do have it stretched out on these bottles to again help with the stretch, so when I put it on, the paint doesn't constrict it or anything. It will fit, and it should still fit me. So the other thing I'm doing is working on the brown detailing she has on her dress. Like the skirt, I'm going to do some little pin tucks in it. Alright, so a little bit of an update on the Leicu. So here is one of them. This is the final shape and size and everything. I'm really happy with it. I managed to get this stuffing smoothed out a little bit, and the way I did that is I would just take a clump of it. I would take a clump of it and just attack it with my scissors like this. And just go all the way around the clump and everything, and then rip it apart and kind of like just keep shredding it. It's easier with 2 hands. And that helped kind of soften it out so it didn't clump together as much. And then the other thing I did is from about here down is scrap fabrics that I cut into like smaller than 1-inch squares. And I had originally wanted to do that for the entire Leicu was used fabric scraps, but it was very time consuming to cut up the fabric for just this little bit. So I am just going to leave the tip of it like that. It does help weigh it down a little bit. But I am very, very happy with it. And the other thing I did is I did 2 layers of fabric. So I have an inner layer of fabric. This fabric's a bit thinner, a bit stretchier. My sewing machine did not like it, but I also need a new needle. I just have not bought new ones. And then what I'm doing is I'm stuffing this inner layer, and then once the inner layer is stuffed, I'm putting this outer layer on, which is a little bit thicker fabric, and it helps smooth things out, and I am very happy with it. It does have a nice wiggle to it. It will lose some of that wiggle when I paint it. Alright, update on the Leicu. I decided to do a 3rd layer of fabric just to help smooth it out a little bit more. I did the best I could with the fabric, or I did the best I could with the stuffing, but it's just the stuffing I use is a little lumpy. So this one has 3 layers of fabric on it, and I am much happier with it. It's still lumpy, but it is what it is, so whatever. Alright, so I have the cap made. I made it out of some of this leftover stretch velvet corduroy fabric from my Ahsoka cosplay. I did accidentally sew it inside out because I wanted the seams to be on the inside, but it's going to be covered by her flight cap, so it's fine. The reason I used the corduroy is because of the velvet texture on it will hopefully help this not slip as much. I am planning on putting wig caps on the forehead right here. But I do have my Leicu pinned on, and generally the position they're going to be in. I do have a little bit of straightening out to do, but they are about even, about the same height and the same length. So I am very, very happy with it. So I've started painting the Leicu. I've just started painting the one to see how the color looks and everything. And I'm pretty happy with it. I do think it's a little on the neon side. So I'll probably add something to, kind of tone down the color, but I am very happy with the color other than that. So I added some dark green and gray to my base color, and I am much happier with it. So this is, I believe, about 3 coats. It's still wet, and then I need to paint the other side, but I am very happy with how it's coming out so far. Alright, update on the Leicu. This one is fully base coated. I have not done her markings yet. And then this one still needs another coat or 2 of paint. This is still just the slightest bit wet. And then the other thing I did is I made a little mock-up. Just a little paper mock-up so that I could figure out her patterning. So this is what it looks like. The scale of this isn't quite right. It's a bit compressed than what my Leicu actually are. I have my pattern for her cap. I am going to make a mock-up just to make sure everything is going to fit correctly, but these are all the different pattern pieces for all the different fabrics. Alright, so I started sewing the headpiece, and here is the couple of pieces I have so far. So this is the same fabric that I used for the sleeves and the dress, which is a very thin, lightweight, stretchy material. So I'm actually backing it with this stretch suede that I have, and then just top stitching the lines on because she has a lot of lines. And I briefly thought about doing pin tucks or pleats. But then I realized just how small these things get. So I am just doing stitch lines instead. I do have to go in and take some base stitching out just because I did a lot of base stitching to hold this top fabric in place because it is very shifty, and I do have a little spot I need to go in and fix because it got caught in the machine. But other than that, we are just moving right along, and I'm pretty happy with how it's all looking so far. Alright, it's actually starting to turn into something. So here is one half, It is currently pinned together right now. I just wanted to pin it so I could get a look at how it is. So here's the top of the Leicu part, and then here is the underside of the Leicu and the back of it. But I am very, very happy with how it is coming out so far. I have half the flight cap all sewn together, and I'm pretty happy with it. There is a little bit of like wrinkling and everything just from the weight of the Leicu. And then I do have to go in and narrow this piece right here, because when I sewed my Leicu to the inside cap here, I placed them a little closer together, so I do have to go in and narrow this piece, which means I'll probably have to recut this piece to fit that. Look at it! Oh my god. I am so happy with it right now. This is actually the first time I've been able to try on the Leicu without having to hold them or anything. So the changes I made to this are so much better, and I'm so much happier with it. So now I do still need to do the other side, but because of the way I extended the chin strap here, I was able to pin it so I could try it on, and I'm so happy with how it's looking. Alright, I have the markings all painted on now. They were not fun to do, as you can kind of see right here. It's a little... The colors are a little closer than what I'd like. There isn't as much contrast. Yeah, that was not fun to do. Here is the color I had gotten because I was running out of this color and I wasn't sure if I was going to have enough to do the base coat, so I ended up getting another color. They didn't have this one, so I just found one that was similar, and it was actually pretty close as is. It was only a couple shades lighter than this base coat, but it turns out I didn't need any more of the base coat, so I went ahead and started adding white and a little bit of yellow to this color to make it lighter. And I had to add so much white to it in order to get that contrast, and I had to redo these like 4 times, and I may even go back in and do another layer or 2. So I have the ear cones made. They're just made out of foam clay, which they are currently sitting on top of, that I got from my local craft store. They're pretty easy to make. I just finished them, so I'm still kind of poking at them to try and smooth them out a little bit. This one came out a little bit smoother than this one, but like it's not that much difference between them. But I'm really happy with them. And I did try my best to kind of put a little bit of like a lip right here, so I could have something to kind of fold the fabric over and glue to, but also put a little like step or a little base on it, so that I could also have something to, so I would have something to kind of like put the earring on. Alright, I am currently sewing the zipper in. I am sewing it by hand. I have this side in, and then I had this side in, but when I closed my zipper, these stripes did not line up at all. I think out of all of them, only like one seam actually lined up, and it was pretty bad. So I'm redoing this side so that everything will line up and it will look a whole lot nicer. So here are my ear cones. They are all painted and ready to go. I'm really happy with how they came out. I think they look really good. I'm not going to do any like detailing or anything on them. Hers are pretty smooth, so I'm just going to leave them like that. And then I did work on the belt that she has. I didn't record very much of it because I just went for it, because honestly this was probably the piece that I was looking forward to the least. So I just took a piece of fabric, some scrap fabric, draped it around my waist, marked out the shape that I wanted, because she does have this slope right here, and then just did some top stitching. It's a little wonky because I don't have a quilting bar, and also I'm doing a straight stitch on a stretch fabric, but it's okay. I'll settle for it for now. I thought about doing pin tucks or pleats, but honestly, I'm really over those right now. So I just did top stitching, and then I lined it with that faux leather that I used for the headband. And then really cool detailing that she has on the edge, I'm just painting it. So I went in and did a base coat of white just because this is so dark. I did the white just so I have to hopefully do less layers of gold. And then I will paint the gold and then put some snaps on. I do have marked the edge of the wrap piece where I need to put the snaps, and then this will be done. Alright, so I made one of her earrings. It's all just foam. I didn't record the process or anything because I wasn't sure how it was going to come out, but pretty happy with how it came out. So what I did is I drew a paper sketch out using the size of my ear cones to get this inner diameter, and then just based it off of there, and then I cut that paper pattern out, or I cut that paper sketch out to get my patterns, and then just cut everything out of foam. It is 4mm foam for the dangly part and this part up here, and then 2mm foam wrapped around the center there. And I did go in and do a little bit of hot glue right along this fold here and kind of pinched it to give it that shape. And then I did glue a small strip of 2mm foam underneath it so it would have something backing it to hold it in place. And then I just hot glued and super glued it all together. So now I'm going to paint it, and then this will be done. And then I do need to make the other one still. The belt is officially done. I am pretty happy with how it came out. There are a couple of things I wish I had done differently, mainly just done a different fabric for the backing, but again, this was really the only fabric I had that I had enough of and had structure. I have the gold all painted, and then I put 3 snaps right here and then a hook and eye right here. I wish I had done hook and eyes or hook and bars right here, but I'm just gonna leave them as snaps because these were not fun to sew. The combination of both these fabrics was actually pretty hard to sew through. So they're just gonna stay snaps for now. It works, it looks pretty good, I'm pretty happy with it. So that is one of her earrings done. So I did notice she does have this little like chevron detail right there. And then this is supposed to be a cutout, but I really did not want to deal with trying to cut that small of a piece out of foam. So I just painted it black. I did put some highlights around it to kind of give the appearance that it's cut out. And then I put some highlights on that raised part and around the chevron and everything and around the edges, just to give it a little bit more detail. And then I did go in and do some gray dabbing did some sponging with some paint, just because hers have that on there. So other than painting the back and sealing it, this one is done. Alright guys, so with this, she is officially done, except for a couple of small minor details. I do still need to put some wig clips in this so it doesn't slide back, but other than that, she is officially done, and I'm so excited and so happy with how everything came out. I do have a couple of little things that I wish I had done a little bit differently. I wish I had moved these up a little bit higher, but other than that, I am so happy with how this costume came out. Oh my god, you guys, she is done, or about as done as she's gonna get. I do have a couple of little minor things that I need to fix. I need to put wig caps in the headband still. I just don't have those. They are on their way. And then I do have to fix that. I just need to glue it down so it's a little shorter. But other than that, she is done. Look at her. I do still need to get the gloves and tights because I'm not painting my arms or fingers. So I will be wearing gloves like I do with Ahsoka. And then I still need to get face paint that has been purchased and it's on its way. So other than little details like that, she is completely done. The making of is completely done, and I'm so happy with how it all came out. She is super comfortable with that. She is, I'm gonna call her officially done. And that's it for making Eleni. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful, useful, or at least entertaining. I try to upload full-length videos every other Thursday and shorts every other, upload shorts every other Saturday on alternating weeks. And please like this video if you enjoyed it or found it useful in any way, and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!